is Jennifer. Thanks for everything you do. I wanted to ask you a question about highly sensitive people. In the psychology field here, there's that label for individuals who carry very deep emotions, negative or positive. They are very rigid thinkers. They naturally carry lots of shame and anxiousness. They're detailed oriented, very imaginative. Their depth of processing is very high, and so they get overstimulated and therefore emotionally reactive. And essentially all their senses are overly heightened. I fit that profile, and so does my 5-year-old. And we've been told that depending on the parenting style, this can enhance their sensitivities, whether in a negative or positive way. So I wanted to ask you, what all can you tell us about highly sensitive people? And what can I do to help my 5-year-old who is too young to apply your teachings directly to live a life without so much pain and hardship that can come with having this type of temperament? Thank you so much, Bashar. Take care.
Well, first and foremost, you have to realize that there will always be a few exceptions to what we are about to say. That being said, the majority of people on your planet who function this way are the result of very deep trauma. They have been traumatized to such a degree that they have become overly sensitive as a warning system to avoid anything that might trigger the trauma experienced within themselves. So it mostly comes from the idea of deep personal trauma. Now, the idea for someone very young that's exhibiting this, to some degree, it can be that the soul decided that they're going to be a reflection of you going through your experience of personal trauma, and so they're reflecting it to you, they're exhibiting it as well, because they're picking it up from you and throwing it back at you to show you what you're experiencing, to show you that it's something you need to deal with. That can be one of the reasons that very young children may be experiencing the symptoms of the same kind of trauma that the adult parent is experiencing. At the same time, some of the things that can be done about this is to provide environments that stimulate the child's ability to exercise their creative imagination, to think of alternative ways in which they can respond or react to certain situations that they would otherwise react to in a highly sensitive way. So you have to be creative and imaginative enough yourself to invent scenarios to take them through in a playful way, these scenarios, to get them to utilize their creative imaginations about how to problem solve in certain situations that they might otherwise react to in an overly traumatized, highly sensitive way. So you have to stimulate their creative imaginations either with stories or some kind of interactive experience that gets them to dig deep into their creative resources to come up with alternative paths, alternative ways to think of how else, what other ways could you solve this situation, could solve this problem, this challenge? Is there some other way your imagination can come up with to face this challenge so you don't feel so overly sensitized and reactive to it? I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea.
Hello.
All right. Good day. Good day.
Good day. I'm excited and honored to be here with you.
As are we with you.
So I have a question about deserving and receiving.
Yes.
I have noticed that I really struggle with feeling like I deserve to receive.
Why?
Why?
Yes. Where did you learn that from? Where did you pick up the idea that you don't deserve to receive?
I imagine it's from my family.
All right. You understand that you are receiving all the time, otherwise you wouldn't be having a physical reality experience, yes?
That is correct, yes.
So you
Yeah.
must believe you deserve to receive something,
Yes.
or you would be experiencing nothing.
That is correct.
I
Okay.
know, that's why I said it. So you see the paradox here?
Yeah.
So the question isn't, do you deserve to receive? It's, what is it that you deserve to receive that's different from the things you're already willing to believe you deserve to receive? What makes them different?
I imagine I need to earn the things I prefer to receive.
Well, in some senses, that can be accurate, but what does earn actually mean? Earning doesn't have to be suffering or struggling. Earning can simply be the result of being willing to take an action in a direction that will allow you to receive something, because you have to put out in order to get back. So just the willingness to take the action can be earning what you receive from that action. It can be that simple.
Yes. I
So
think
why are you making earning such a struggle?
I think what it is that I feel intrinsically I'm not enough to deserve the things I prefer to receive.
Can you give us an example of what you prefer to receive?
Um, uh, okay. I'll give an example that's closest to my heart. My
Yes,
son,
please.
when my son was a newborn and smiled at me, I felt I did not deserve that. So that's love. That was an expression of love in my, that's how I felt like I was receiving love, and I did not earn that love just by being his mother,
I see. And why not?
because the voice in my head said, he doesn't know who I am.
Yes, he does. He knew who you were way more than he knows it now. Because children, when they're first born, are still very connected to spirit, and they can see who you actually are. Therefore, his smile was absolutely proof that you deserve to be loved. Now, let's explore this and examine this from another point of view, shall we?
Yes.
All right. And by the way, if you find yourself emotional and crying, that's a good sign.
Thank you.
You know what we've said about that?
It's a release of something.
Yes. Anytime physically you hold on to a belief, there has to be a physical component in your body that represents that belief. That's usually in the chemistry of your body. So if you're letting go of a belief, you have to wash that chemical component out of your system, and that usually happens through tears, though it can happen in other ways as well. So they're tears of release.
Yes.
All right? So that's fine. If you feel yourself welling up, just let it flow. All right?
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to assume quite safely, I might mention, that I'm having a conversation with someone who actually exists. Yes?
Yes.
You're certain you exist, yes?
Yes.
All right. Pretty certain or really certain that you exist?
I'm really certain.
All right. Do you understand that creation doesn't make mistakes?
Yes.
Do you really understand that?
I don't think I do.
All right. Do you understand that if creation actually made a mistake, it would collapse under its own weight?
I think I understand that. Yes.
Creation is not complicated, but it's so complex, so interwoven, exists on so many different levels, including parallel realities and multiverses and so on and so forth, that if there was an error in any of that, the whole thing would just collapse in on itself, and it wouldn't really exist in the way that it does. It wouldn't be capable of maintaining its existence. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's like having a weak link in something that needs every single component to be equally strong with every other component so that it can maintain its shape. You have certain games that exist on your planet that explore this idea. Whereas if you remove one thing, the whole thing falls apart.
Yes.
Yes? All right.
Yes.
So you are one of those components. You exist. And that means creation absolutely needed you to exist in order for it to be complete. Otherwise, it would be incomplete without you. Just by definition of the fact that you exist, you're worthy and deserving of that existence. You are necessary to existence itself. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. So by saying, I'm not deserving to be who I am not deserving of the vibrational frequency of existence itself, which you translate as unconditional love in human terms. That's what unconditional love is. The actual frequency of existence itself. You follow?
Yes.
That's how you translate it in your physical reality. So by the fact that you exist, existence itself, creation itself, all that is itself, says you deserve to experience this unconditional love. By saying you don't deserve that, you are singling yourself out of all of creation as the only component that doesn't belong in creation. You are arguing with creation about the fact of your existence, and I guarantee you, you will never win that argument because you cannot cease to exist. That's your fundamental state. That which exists cannot become that which is non-existent, because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. There's nowhere for existence to go. So, by the very fact that you exist, all that is telling you you deserve to, and you deserve the unconditional vibrational love of existence itself in order for you to continue to be a component that is vital to all of existence. So stop arguing with creation, because in actual fact, though that may seem to be the idea of, oh, I don't deserve this, may seem to be a very humble idea, it's actually the most arrogant idea you can express. Because you're saying, I alone out of all of creation am the only one that doesn't deserve to be loved. That's very arrogant. Do you want to be arrogant?
No, I do not.
Then will you be willing to accept that you deserve to love yourself?
Yes.
And that you don't have to do anything to deserve that other than the fact that you exist. That's your foundation. That's where you start from. That you deserve unconditional love by the fact that you exist. There is no other reason you need. None. It's a fundamental, built-in thing to your existence itself. Now you have the free will, as you have discovered, to say, I don't deserve it. But do you see the paradox in that? You are so unconditionally supported, so unconditionally loved, that you are given the free will to believe you're not loved.
Yes.
That's how loved you are. That you can think, even, I'm not loved. That's how loved you are, that you're allowed to think that. So, which do you prefer?
I prefer to feel loved.
Nothing stops you from understanding that that's your fundamental, essential core frequency. Because you are part of existence, and existence itself is the vibration of unconditional love. So, that's your nature. That's your natural, essential state. And then you go from there. So, if you begin that way, if you are that way, if that's your fundamental nature, it's up to you to decide how to experience that unconditional love. You can create a scenario, as you have been doing, where you choose to deprive yourself of that feeling, but understand you're using that unconditional love to create a feeling that you're not loved.
Mm.
So if you don't prefer that anymore, if you're tired of playing that game, you can, with absolutely no fanfare, no other reason, no earning scenario, you can simply decide, you know, I'm done with that. I'll just go back to my natural state of knowing, not just believing, knowing that I'm unconditionally loved, and then say, well, now what else would I like to do with that? Because you've already been using it to pretend that you're not loved. And if you're tired of that, you can now decide to do something else with the unconditional love that is yours. Because everyone has it, because you are part of existence. So what would you rather do with it?
I would rather receive it. I would rather.
But you see, that's what I'm saying. It's not even an issue of receiving it. You are it.
Ah, yes.
You don't even have to receive it. You're made of it. It's not about receiving it. It's about, what do you want to do with it?
Just be it.
Be it in all the things that you do. That's why we give you the formula that says, act on your passion. Because then you're using the unconditional love you are made of to do things that expand creation. So don't wait to receive it. It's already what you're made of. You don't need to receive it. It is you. Does that help?
Yes.
No, all right. Are you breathing a little easier?
Yes, I am. And I'm thinking about when you said to burn the bridge behind you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Bashar. I really appreciate you.
Do you now understand how to feel at this moment the smile your child gave you when it was born?
I feel it in my heart.
Do you feel and understand that that was existence itself smiling at you?
I feel that right now, yes.
All right. Then choose to stay in that feeling if you wish. It's up to you. Because again, you are unconditionally loved enough to choose whatever it is that works for you. You're the one in charge. What you say goes. All right?
Yes.
All right. We thank you. Our unconditional love to you. And good day.
Good day. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Hello, Bashar. I would like to ask you about the incident where I had what appeared to be a concrete shard manifest itself in my back garden following what sounded like some sort of a lightning strike when I was suddenly awoken. I'm curious as to the origin of this object and whether I should or should not have accepted this as some form of gift and brought it into my home. You and I both know where that currently rests should its purpose be revealed and it be positive. Thank you.
This is simply a reflective symbol for you that energy and matter are exchangeable and interchangeable, as your own Einstein said. The idea of a lightning strike, an energy strike of some form, can concretize matter in that way. So it functions for you as a permission slip symbol to understand that your own energy can manifest into physical reality that quickly if you are your true self. It's a symbol and a reflection of that ability of quick manifestation if you are willing to be your true self and allow your energy to flow in a superconductive way. But these kinds of things can happen in your reality, where bolts of energy can suddenly allow matter to be fused in such a way that it creates these kinds of objects, these kinds of shards.
Hello, Bashar. I have a question. I am really interested in shamanism. And in my trip through Mexico and Peru last month, I experienced what they call in shamanism soul retrievals. some of my essences, my soul essences, I lost somewhere along the way in my life, came back to me by recognizing the process of the soul loss of the particular quality which made me reconnect with that essential part of me. Can you maybe explain a bit more about the concept of soul loss in relation to traumas? And how do you see this technique to make ourselves whole again? Or is there no way of not being whole? Thank you so much.
Again, this involves paradox. There is no way of not being whole, but by being whole, you actually have the power to create the appearance and the illusion of not being whole, of losing something or losing connection to something. But you're using the connection to create an experience of not having a connection. And that's the paradox. And it can serve a purpose for you to go through those experiences so you can rediscover yourself from a new point of view and expand your understanding of your soul and your soul's path so your soul can grow and expand and accelerate. But you never actually can lose connection to your soul. It's not possible because you are a soul. You don't have a soul, you are a soul. But again, because you are always connected to Source, you can, through its unconditional support, play the game of not having that connection. You can play the pretend illusion of losing in that touch, being in touch with yourself in that way. But it's only temporary for the purpose of rediscovering yourself by going through a process that allows you to have that new perspective and to then emerge as a different person. So you're using your connection to pretend you don't have one so you can regain it and become a different person that is more representative of the full soul that you always are. This is the earth game. This is the earth forgettingness so you can remember who you are from a new point of view. That's just another way of what you're describing as the shamanism and the idea that trauma allows you to feel disconnected so that you can learn how to regain that connection that you've always had, but don't feel like you've always had. So that you know you are self-empowered enough to create a transformative experience to bring yourself back into the awareness that that connection is always there and it's not something you can actually lose, not literally, but you can pretend that you have.